Welcome back to Dominating a Man's World, the podcast dedicated to highlighting women in male-dominated industries, brought to you by the disaster experts at Bulldog Adjusters. And for today's episode, I have the Kim Possible Roofing. Her name is Kimberly Palmieri. Kimberly, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to, everybody that's listening. Tell them what company you work for and what you do.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Palmieri. I own Tactical Roofing Solutions in Cape Coral, Florida with my husband. We are a full-service roofing solutions provider.
That's awesome. What areas do you cover here in Florida?
So we cover all of Florida for larger jobs. The smaller residential homes, we tend to stick with Southwest Florida.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. So tell us, how did you get started in this roofing industry, along with your husband?
So when I met my husband, he was just a roofer, and I saw more in him, and he did things a little better than the companies that he had worked for. And so I've always been in management and sales, so I pushed for us to start opening up our own company, which we did 2 years ago. We're going in our third year now, and we're doing pretty well. But that's pretty much how I got started. My husband was tired of working for contractors not doing the right thing, and I was tired of working for people that didn't pay me what my worth was.
So now that you mentioned that, about your worth, do you feel like you come across any, issues or anything while trying to grow tactical as a woman?
Um, I would say not necessarily, just because I do have my husband as well backing, and he's pretty strong-willed, but I do get a little pushback from some guys when it comes to payment, contractors that we work with and things like that. Sometimes I do have to get my husband to go ahead and give them a call. So I think that's my major issue, is sometimes with the contractors, they will give a little pushback when it comes to paying or doing things for free. They see a woman, they think that I'm really nice, and I'm like, okay, I'll just stick my bulldog on you then. Like I do with you guys.
No, of course. That's funny, actually.
That is funny, I know.
Kimberly, you do come across as a very assertive and confident woman. Does that portray a lot, and that's why, you're able to move this forward successfully?
Absolutely. Being knowledgeable is a big key factor. I hired an unknowledgeable woman at one point, thought I could train her, but when it comes to working with other contractors and men of that nature, they see a woman and think, oh, I can get this for free. She's going to give me this and do this, and she'll never know. And, for me, since I do know, and I'm very knowledgeable, nobody plays that game with me.
Of course. With all those qualities that you hold, what value do you believe you bring to this industry, Kim?
I bring my customer service. So in the roofing industry, roofers have a bad reputation, right? Especially in Florida. There's been a lot of pushback with contractors and stuff. And I want to change the way people look at contractors. I want them to know when they see the name Tactical Roofing come across that they're getting a contractor that is, top of the line, takes care of their client. Our motto is putting people over profit for a reason.
100%. That's completely understandable. There is a huge issue now in Florida, and I think with the new laws, let's see, what changes occur now with this new July 1st law. I hope everybody is able to push forward with it. But tell us, before roofing, we've talked before in the past. You've told me you used to work for a shipping company as well. So before roofing and shipping, what did you do before? What was the oddest job you had?
The oddest job I've had. I actually used to detail boats. I was bored. My daughter went to school. I was bartending at night 3 nights a week, and I made a really good living doing that. But I was bored during the day, so I went and started detailing boats. Oh, let me tell you, I've been to the hospital for bird poop in my eye when I was detailing boats.
That's crazy. Detailing. What exactly does that entail?
Oh gosh, you could clean a lot of bird poop, a lot of spiders, floating docks. I did a lot of, I would hang from the side of boats on harnesses, upside down. I used to be very strong, not so much anymore.
So now you hang from the side of roofs, right?
Right, right. Now I just climb on top. I am not hanging, girl.
Wow. So you seem very like you had a lot. You used to bartend, detail boats. You're doing roofing now. At what point in your life did you feel like I'm built for this? I could do this.
Um, Actually, I used to sell, I guess this would be another odd job. I used to, when I bartended, a lot of mushroom growers. I used to live in Pennsylvania. Mushroom growers were around there. So I met the mushroom farmers who gave me a job, asked me to come sell for them. And so I was running around selling mushrooms. And then I'd have to tell my friends, no, not the illegal kind, I promise.
That was actually what my next question was gonna be. I was gonna say, okay, we're gonna cut right there, but
Nope, they were the legal kind, so you have to learn them as well. When I so I hate mushrooms, right? So I had to learn how to sell something that I absolutely despise. I do not like them, nothing about them. So I just learned a lot. My first sale was a lemon chain store, and it filled us up to capacity because they used a lot. And then I also did a lot of high-end restaurants in North Carolina with a lot of high-end morel mushrooms, chanterelles, and all kinds of crazy stuff. But when I realized that I could sell something even when I hated it, I mean, you learn and figure it out and explain to people. I would pretend that I loved them. Oh, it tastes great with this kind of recipe, and I would give them recipes that I found online.
that you would never make. That's
But
funny.
my customer service was top notch as well. So I got a lot of high end clients in North Carolina that would only deal with me for their high end products because they know that if they got a bad batch, they could call me, send me a picture, and I'd replace it instantly. And that's a customer service.
No, that actually ties into something you said earlier. It ties into having the knowledge. So maybe you didn't like mushroom, but you have that customer service and you have the knowledge about the mushroom, even if you don't like them. And, those two things tied together is just a recipe for success, honestly. So I think that's really what made you successful in that mushroom industry. So you sound like you've always been very, very busy between mushrooms, detailing, roofing, selling. What do you do? Do you have downtime? What do you do on your downtime, Kim?
Um, I trained my daughter and her friends how to walk roofs. I just was laughing about this yesterday. I was like, oh, I got home at 6 o'clock at night. I was like, oh, hey guys, you need some practice on the roof. Let's get on the roof and let's walk it. And our neighbors are looking like, what are all these people doing on your roof?
So you're tying them into the business. That's good. That's always
Oh,
good.
sure. My daughter's in training for being a superintendent, so eventually she'll do project managing and things of that nature. But no, seriously, in my downtime, we love to fish, hang out with family. Family matters. That's really all that matters in life, right? When it all boils down to it, your family's there no matter what, and that's what I do this for. I do this for my family.
That's how it's supposed to be. I see that you're family oriented. You definitely have your daughter up there on the roof. So with all of this that you've done, what do you believe, Kim, that you're doing that other women in our industry don't do?
Not looking at myself differently, right? So I think when you approach guys and you feel in yourself, because right, we put out an energy. So you put out an energy when you're walking up to somebody, whether you're confident or not. And you can fake it until you make it, right? Because I did that my whole life. Everybody does.
Yeah, of course, especially with the
Because
mushrooms.
sometimes you have to fake it because you're not confident, but I will fake it until I make it there. You will not feel that from me. So we put an energy out. I just put a confidence out. And if I don't know something, I tell them I don't know it. And that's why it protrudes across as an honest answer, because it is an honest answer, right? So I walk with confidence no matter if I know it or not. I just own up to it. Other women just be confident. Just because you don't know anything, something about something doesn't mean you can't be confident about it. Because listen, I can learn anything. If I don't know it and I'm with a client, I say, hey, you know what? I'm not quite sure about that, but let's go ahead and learn it together today. So that way I never run across this before or
Awesome.
again. Yeah.
Awesome. So you heard it there, ladies. From the Kim Possible Roofing, you got to be confident. You got to have the knowledge. That put your best foot forward when you're out there representing yourself. The good energy is what you want to portray, so you're not seen any differently than others. Um,
Yeah, don't look at yourself differently. Like, really, don't look at yourself as any different just because you're a woman and he's a man. Walk up to him like he's any other person. Just put your blinders on, and think, hey, this is just a client or somebody that needs my help. I have the expertise to help them, and go at it like that, with just some confidence.
So yeah, with with all that confidence that you have, and all that is energy that you portray, um, how do you move forward when sometimes you get that no from the contractor? You don't get, they tell you that your ideas won't work.
I always think to myself, and it's something I instill in my salesmen as well, that client wasn't meant to be yours, and I move on. Because there's so much work out there for everybody, and I can't lose sleep over one guy when there's a million of others out there that need the same exact thing, that will be, that you do connect with. Because sometimes that's what it takes in business, right? Is connecting with the company you're working with. Because sometimes if you're just not feeling it, you're not feeling it. So, and then I take those losses as, at first I used to get really upset with myself because I'm like, I know I can be better, blah, 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 blah. But as time goes on, I just, in the roofing industry is a lot different than the other industries I've been in. And now I just chalk it up to that customer wasn't meant to be mine, and I move on. And, a day later, I get another bigger contract than that one. So that was the one that was supposed to be mine, not the one before it, and sometimes it's a bad person to work with, right? Because not every client is the best client to work with. Let's just face it.
Well, they do say when one door closes, one opens. So, maybe if that client
Yeah.
wasn't meant to be yours, the next one will be bigger and better. Maybe sometimes, I'm sorry, if you force sometimes yourself upon that client, maybe the experience won't be so well. Now you're getting the bad reviews,
Yep.
and you're not really,
Absolutely.
yeah. So the industry is going through a lot of changes lately. There is these new laws like we spoke earlier. The roofing industry is changing as well. What changes would you like to see, in the upcoming years?
Oh man. Um, one of the biggest pet peeves in this industry with real contractors like my husband. So my husband's worked side by side with our labor for the last 20, almost 25 years, right? So he's worked side by side, and he worked his way up to this position to have all the knowledge that he has to be able to do such a variety of different roofs, right? So we don't, I mean, we have our specialties, of course, but we can do anything and everything that's put in front of us because he has the roof mechanic knowledge. There's a lot of they grandfather in a lot. They can be co-signed by other contractors. Salesmen that has been in the industry for 1 year can go get a contractor to sign off and say, hey, he's been in the roofing industry. Go ahead and give him a license, and then he works under his license for a couple of years and then gets grandfathered in. And I think that's super unfair for the guys who are actually contractors who put their work in to figure out the knowledge, to find out what is and what isn't, because we see a lot of bad contractors out here. We get a lot of calls. I just had this roof done 2 years ago. I got these leaks. I don't trust that roofer anymore. He keeps coming back, doesn't fix it, and I'm still having the problem. Can you guys come look at it? At this point, I'm just going to have to pay somebody else. And I think it's terrible, right? So you get on this roof and you see a job that is the worst job you've ever seen in your life, and that's terrible that people get away contracting jobs that way when they have no idea what they're doing. So that's one of the main pet peeves that we have in this industry, is not competing with the cheap roofers, right? Because we're never the cheapest roofer. I always tell my clients, I'm never the cheapest, I'm never the most expensive. I'm fair. I have an honest quote if you want honest work. Because once you start cheapening, you cheapen your labor, you're cheapen, and that's what you get on your roof, is things that don't work, things that are bad, not up to code, because the inspectors don't do inspecting the way they should always.
So what it sounds like is like maybe the inspector should do a better job at looking at the work product, and making sure that that the roofer, that the client got their bang for their buck, basically. So if they're going out there and there's a really bad roof, they should be able to say something and say, look, roofer, you did a really bad job, you should come back and fix it, basically.
Right, right. And sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. So they have some of their inspectors that will sign off on a guy who's been in business for 20 years just because he's been in business 20 years. He should automatically, he does his roofs right. I don't have to get up there and walk on it. We're redoing a commercial job. It got passed for all inspections. I'll tell you what, there's a hole in the weight concrete on his roof that I am so thankful that none of my employees fell through, or my husband. We've been up on that roof many times, and when we go inside and we look inside of a closet, there's a big gaping hole in the concrete, and that was passed by the inspector.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So I have another question in all of this. As roofers, you guys offer warranty, correct?
We do, and we also just so we have our standard workmanship warranty that we've had, but we just got a new standard workmanship warranty that protects our customers with up to a $20,000 guarantee on our workmanship for lifetime. So that's a pretty cool new feature that we have. So every roof that gets completed, we've had it for about a week now. So any roof we've completed from here on out will have that $20,000 guarantee. Even if our business were to fail in 5 years, which I don't foresee it happening. But if we were to fail, because that does happen in life, companies do fail, it's still backed by that workmanship guarantee with the other company that is basically insuring our workmanship.
Oh, that's cool. So even if your company is particularly not in place, there's like a backup company to come do the work in case something were to occur.
Correct, or a cash settlement, whichever they dictate is the case at that point. But yeah, it's pretty great. So, and it's lifetime against any of our workmanship, and you can't get that being a bad contractor.
Well, that's good to hear. You know, that definitely is definitely a good change that we should definitely see in 2021. Maybe inspectors should just up their game a little bit. And now, like, taking it back a little bit, you know, how do you feel personally being a woman in this industry? Like, do you get a rush out of it, an adrenaline being up there on the roof?
I get a rush out of knowing more about this industry, only being in it for 2 years. I get the rush knowing that I know more than 90% of the guys I've met in the last 5 years in the roofing industry. I know a guy who is, again, co-signed by another company. I know more about roofing than him. That's where my rush comes in. I'm a knowledge person. I sell by knowledge. I teach and explain to my clients everything about their product. I basically build the roof right in front of them. I have all the products in a bag I bring to their house. I build it. They can touch it. They can see it. They can feel it. They can know what they're paying for.
That's awesome. All right. Well, Kimberly, do you have any encouraging words, anything you would like to share to all the women listening?
Don't look at yourself any differently. Look at yourself as a strong, powerful human being that can do anything you put your mind to. Learn about it, and if you learn about it, you know about it, and you can talk about it.
Awesome. And to all the listeners, where can they find you on social media, on your website? What do you have? Where can they find you for further information?
Excuse me, I'm so sorry. We're on tacticalroofing.org, and then we're also on Facebook as Tactical Roofing Solutions LLC.
Cool. Any TikTok, Instagram?
We do. They're getting set up right now. I didn't want to be the face of that, so I'm having an employee be the face of that very soon. But it's all set up. I just have to get it rocking and rolling. I've been so busy. All of our business is referrals mostly, and I've got a lot of them.
That's awesome. Referrals is actually very amazing. Usually before you start marketing and you get leads, usually referrals and word of mouth is like the first clients you get, especially after any major storm.
Yes, and we have a lot. We built up over the last 2 years a ton of referral system, which is amazing.
That's awesome. So you're ready for the next storm here in Florida.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I've already talked to a lawyer concerning all of the laws and everything. And I would also suggest to anybody in this industry, please talk to a lawyer of what you can and can't do. Don't give all bad contractors a bad name by doing the wrong thing. Just follow the law. We've been doing the same exact thing that they've put into place for the new laws. We've been doing it for the past 2 years already. So it's not that hard.
That's perfect. Well, I want to thank you, Kimberly. You were great. Once again, guys, Kimberly Palmieri from Tactical Solutions. Dominating a Man's World is powered by Bulldog Adjusters, America's leading public adjusting firm that has helped homeowners just like you fight their insurance company to ensure they receive every dollar they deserve for their property damage insurance claims. The question isn't who's going to let me, it's who is going to stop me. Ayn Rand.